Well, joining me live now is former US Ambassador and President of the Middle East Policy Council, Gina Abercrombie-Winstanley. Gina, welcome to you. Good to have you on the programme. What's your analysis of why the US have launched these strikes targeting the Houthis now?
Well, thank you for having me. One of the reasons, of course, is that President Trump and his administration want to avoid what bedeviled the Biden administration, which is trying to protect shipping in the Red Sea and at the same time looking weak, as President Trump has said, looking ineffectual because President Biden was not able to stop those attacks. So the nature of the U.S. response is different this time, and it may or may not be more effective because, of course, this is asymmetric warfare, which is always extraordinarily difficult to win, even though you may have overwhelming power, armament, money, etc. It is Yemen. It is the second poorest country via GDP in the world. The United States is the second richest country in the world via GDP. And so it is asymmetric, and the Houthis are able to mete out attacks against the United States or shipping that we are saying we want to protect.
Yeah, and the Houthis, of course, are backed by Iran, which funds and arms them. Is this as much about the US sending a message to Iran?
It is. It is. Certainly, this would be the first part of it, because this is not much more than what was done under the Biden administration. So the president has said to Iran they've got to stop their support of the Houthis and that there may be a military response. This is something that Israel certainly has been interested in, the United States having an attack against Iran. So we'll see what the next steps are if the Houthis do not respond as President Trump is ordering them, certainly highly recommending them to do. But we will not be surprised if the Houthis continue these attacks, because they have in the past.
Yeah, the US have said that they will continue to strike the Houthis as long as they continue to present a threat to shipping in this region. What dangers are there of an escalation here?
Well, there are, because President Trump, as I said, will want to avoid looking like President Biden did, which is being ineffective. So he will escalate in a way that I believe the Biden administration was unwilling to do. I think President Biden worked very hard to bring a closure to the war between the Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates and Yemen. We put in great efforts, diplomatic as well as monetarily, trying to rebuild the port in Yemen, to bring humanitarian assistance, etc., to Yemen. And so there was a reluctance by the U.S. government to damage all of that we had been paying for. President Trump is unlikely to have the same reticence, the same take into the same account, because he didn't do it. He wasn't trying to restore Yemen. And of course, Secretary of Defense Hegseth has said, we don't care what happens inside Yemen. So the calculation is different from the U.S. side. The Yemenis, the Houthis, should certainly expect a more robust response from the United States.
Of course, as so many things, what happened in the Middle East is interconnected in so many areas. We know that the Houthis said they started these strikes following Israel's war, or when Israel started its war in Gaza following the October the 7th Hamas attacks. How does that fit in now that we know that the next round of hostage release ceasefire negotiations are in a very delicate stage?
Indeed. Well, there is that, and there is always the call for effective diplomacy. I mean, the Houthis have been pretty true to their word. They said as long as the war between Gaza and Israel continued, that they would continue their attack. So when the ceasefire went into place, they stopped. When it appeared that Israel was breaking the agreement that was reached, they said they were starting again. But again, Iran is playing into this. And of course, the Houthis might even attack U.S. forces or U.S. assets locally. So that means governments in the Gulf have got to be concerned about this as well.
Okay, really interesting to get your thoughts. Gina Abercrombie-Winstanley, thank you.